we bring on the head football coach at Georgia Tech, Jeff Collins, who had it rocking and rolling again. He goes down to the Sunshine State, man. He's partying like a rock star. Wreck everyone and leave. That's what he's talking about. There he is. Coach, first of all, congratulations. That was some kind of football game Saturday.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just a huge shout out to our coaching staff and our players. Did an amazing job handling all the adversity that could possibly exist with rain delays, going back in the locker room before the game, going back in after the first 7 minutes, and just the way they handled everything with composure and just stayed in the moment and finished it off the right way. Really cool way to start the season.
Jeff, you guys had all the things that you could possibly handle in terms of just abnormal, right? I mean, not even 20,000 people in the stadium and an 80,000-seat joint. Half dozen buses or more going 5 hours-ish to Tallahassee for the trip. I mean, all these things. And yet I got to believe that maybe that first quarter weather break helped you in some ways, because when you came back, you looked like a different football team, at least in terms of your comfort on the field when you came back after the early score Florida State got.
Yeah, well, and you can go ahead and call it a full dozen, Wes. We took 11 buses down to Tallahassee.
Jeez.
Just to maximize safety, maximize the distance between each other, and our operations staff did a great job with that piece. But just our offense was clicking right from the jump. Drove down, we had a turnover to start the game, and then Florida State had a really good opening strip, a lot of tempo, and they drove down and scored on us. And then we went in. Hats off to our coaches and players, just the way they handled the adjustments, handled that time in the locker room, and came back out. We played some music, get the vibe right before we went back out there, and had a little rec 'em drill right before we kicked off. And this shirt right here is in honor of Roman Reigns, the Universal WWE champion and former Georgia Tech defensive lineman. So I want to make sure I recognize why I'm wearing this shirt out of honor for him.
All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very upset with you, Coach, because the last time you were on the show – no, listen, hear me out now. The last time we had you on the show, the very first question I asked you was, all right, we're going to have breaking news, right? You're here to announce your starting quarterback. And you looked at me like I was speaking Chinese and said, no, I'm not telling you anything. And so I watched your game Saturday, and this kid, Sims, comes out. You got Florida State with all those Sunday dudes on that defensive side. He looks like he's just walking the dog through the park, and I'm thinking – man, what took Collins so long to make that announcement? This dude is a player. I know there's things he can get better on, but man alive, sure. What a poised young kid to go in that environment against that defense and just go out and make plays.
Yeah, that was the best part about it, just his composure, the way the offensive line played, the development that Brent Key has taken that group through against that front four, which arguably is one of the best in the country. Just the comfort level that Jeff had playing behind those guys, the receivers, having Jalen Camp back. Malachi had a monster day, Amarian Brown, and I could go on. And then our running backs, J.P. Mason and Jemias Griffin, all of those complementary pieces, that helped Jeff feel very confident and be able to go out there knowing he didn't have to do anything special, just execute the calls as Coach Pat Noak sent in, and trust the guys around him that they have your back. They did. And also on the other side of the ball, with the 2 turnovers and the block kicks, the defensive guys had our other guys back the entire time. And I think we played complimentary football and never got too high, never got too low, and just kept building throughout the game. And I think that's a pretty good sign of a good team right now.
All right, Coach, he was a major target for you in recruiting when you got the job. I know that because you kind of talked about it, leading up to him ultimately coming to Georgia Tech. But we saw all the physical gifts. What do we need to know about the young freshman? What is he like? Is he cool? Is it the vibe? What's the separator in him getting that job and then being able to handle all the game stuff, all that stuff right from the gate that you have to win a ball game like that?
Yeah, so I'm sure you're talking about Jordan Williams, the true freshman right tackle that went in there first game in college.
No, I'm not.
And there he is right there.
No.
Now, Jeff did great.
No, I'm talking about
Jordan
Sims.
Williams did a great job. Yeah, they both did really good. Two true freshmen that have to go in that kind of environment and play at a high level. Just really proud of those two young guys. And my favorite thing about Jeff Sims, he had a great game, first college start, first college win, obviously blowing up on social media, and rightfully so. My favorite thing about Jeff, first one in the building yesterday because we practice on Sundays. Monday is our off day. We break meetings and head out to practice. Jeff Sims is the first one on the field. And I think that shows more about who he is as a person, a man of character, how he was raised, than any of the other things that he might have done physically, anything else that he might have done in game. The fact that he understands the moment, and I've got to make sure I'm first in the building, first one out onto the field. I think that speaks volumes of who Jeff Sims is.
All right, Coach, I have a two-part question for you, all right? I'm going to ask the first one, get your answer, and then follow up with the second question. The question is, what music did you play during the delay to get everybody juiced up again?
So we've got a really good playlist. Some is for public consumption, some is for private consumption. The music that we played to get them juiced up, I will leave in that locker room, and the guys know why we play it, and it's pretty good.
All right, fair enough. I allow that privacy. I respect that. All right, here's my follow-up question. Can you play it before we go to make a kick?
No, I think there's things that would get edited, so we would not be able to do that. But obviously, we spent a lot of time again last night on that piece. Obviously, having kicks blocked is not something that we want to do. I said it in my post-game presser. I take a lot of the blame on that. In the midst of a global pandemic, anybody that's come out to watch us practice, we get about 16 reps of PAT field goal live during practice. Well, the first day we did it in the midst of a global pandemic, that was one of the periods that we had 22 guys in actually a long amount of time around each other, and we could not get them separate, and we kind of scratched it and modified how we did it. So I'm taking that fully on me, how we made adjustments in the midst of a global pandemic for the health and safety, but we just got to continue to develop that piece of it. But again, hats off to Florida State's defensive line for getting tremendous push, giving great effort on plays that people don't really recognize as plays that some places that's a play off. And credit to Florida State's defensive line for playing really hard and getting pushed and getting those blocks.
And Coach, in all sincerity, though, a lot of credit to your kicker because, kickers to me are like golfers. We get skittish when all of a sudden we miss a 3-foot putt, and all of a sudden you think, oh, my God, I'm going to miss every 3-foot putt. Kickers are strange birds, but all of a sudden, given that situation, when you had to make it, Kelly stepped up, nailed it. And that, to me, is mental toughness, too, and that discipline. And guys blocked, and you took care of business, and it turns out to be the game winner.
Yeah, and one of the coolest moments, and you can actually see it as you rewatch the game, Ryan Horton, our director of applied science, who did so much behind the scenes to get us ready, to get us to play at a high level, to get us to be able to take all of those breaks and still execute and sustain energy throughout. You can see him at about the 11-minute mark in the game. They pan to the sideline, and they show Jude, and there's Ryan Horton, our director of applied science, talking to him about, hey, what happened. Wouldn't it be cool when you get the chance and you nail the game winner? 3 minutes later, Jude Kelly walks up there and drills it. And hats off to Jude, but just hats off to everybody in the organization, how everybody is aligned on the same goal, on the same mission. And just little moments like that don't show up in the scorecard. They don't show up on the play-by-play. But as you build relationships and you have trust and you're building a culture, little moments like that solidify what we're building here. And just really excited about the group of men I get to work with every single day.
All right, 3 weeks ago, there was an ACC preseason poll that came out, and you guys were picked 15th. I'm going to assume, which is dangerous, that you're not surprised what happened Saturday knowing your team and building the team like you've talked about since the end of last year. So what's critical about the next step after something like Saturday happens for you now?
Yeah, so two parts. Friday night, as I talked to the team and we show our highlight video and all those kind of things in the last meeting, I told them, all of them, do not be surprised when we go out there and play well. Do not be surprised when we're moving the ball up and down the field. Do not be surprised when we're getting 3 and outs and we're getting sacks and we're creating turnovers. Don't be surprised. Everybody else is going to be, but no one internally should be surprised about how you're going to play. And they went out there and we're having success. Obviously, you gotta erase some of those critical errors that we had, and we've worked on that, and we'll fix those things. But the next piece, we learned very, very well and very deeply last year how to handle defeat, how to learn from defeat, how to get better in very adverse circumstances as we're transitioning this program. So we learned how to do that. Now we've got to learn how to handle success, how to handle media slate, how to handle social media getting blown up, having Presley Harvin handle Dwayne Wade hitting him up on social media. Those kind of things are really cool, but when you elevate the program, you have to be able to do all the things that it took to get to that place, and we're still in the infancy phases of all of this, and how to handle success is going to be huge.
Well, with that said, have you thought about playing Central Florida and Orlando? Because I tell you, every time you go across the border down there to the state of Florida, man, you've had some good stuff happen to you in a short period of time.
Yeah, and I was at UCF with George O'Leary. I was there with him for 2 years. Tremendous amount of respect for that program. Playing him in the AAC for 2 years. Tremendous amount of respect for the players that they have, the scheme that they run on both sides of the ball, the coaching. So obviously we know what a great team they are, and they're going to come in here highly ranked and well-deserved. But we just got to focus on who we are, our development every single day to get ready to play on prime time again and show our brand, show our culture, and play really, really hard against a great opponent with great players.
Yeah, well said. Congratulations. You've always been good to us. Appreciate you stopping by on a Monday. Shout out to Joanna White for the gear. I appreciate that, too. That was good. That's huge. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll make sure we get that sponsor drop in. Wreck everyone and leave. Yeah, gotcha. By the way, how did Rockdale County do? Do we need to check in how Rockdale County do Friday night? I know you still watch the high school scoreboard. How'd you do?
Yeah, I do, but I didn't check that when I was. We got back at 4 o'clock in the morning. My little 4-year-old daughter woke me up at 6:43. So I was running on fumes yesterday, but it's all good because I'm blessed to coach the guys I get to coach.
I'm surprised you didn't wake her up as wound up as you had to be, Coach. I mean, listen, your celebrations after wins in the Sunshine State have already become legendary. I figured you got home and woke up the whole house.
Yes, sir.
We wish you the best.
Hey, by the way.
Thanks, guys.
By the way, did you know the last time Georgia Tech opened the season with an ACC road win, you were also on that staff?
Yeah. Yeah, how about that?
1996.
Yep, so so exciting times, and just you continue to go to work, and we'll be back at it tomorrow with the Tuesday practice.
All right. Be well, man. Take care. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.